Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV to talk about West Ham and not Cheltenham. We won't talk about that here right now. To my right is Lucas. Down the bottom there is Jay, and we're here to talk about yesterday's defeat, system failure or not. Jay, how are you doing, sir?
I'm all right, lads. I'm all right. Good evening to everyone in chat. My first time seeing Lucas on screen and not in person. He's looking trim from his trip to the UK, but I miss my man.
Otherwise, 13 pounds. 13 pounds I lost.
The only person I'll ever know who goes on holiday and comes back with significant weight loss. The difference in like UK and US food needs to be like studied. It's not that difficult when you think about it. Really,
it doesn't need to be studied. It needs to be abolished.
Yeah, 100%. But otherwise, I'm good, lads. How are things, Lucas? First and foremost,
good, mate. Got straight back into work the following Monday. I've been driving around all of the East Coast like a madman for the coin. Coin. But yeah, I've been good. Just everything's back to normal around here. So
yeah, I know, mate. I know it is a bit of a weird situation seeing Lucas all the way over in the States, but he is English at heart. That's a point. Right, let's talk about last night. Jay, you was there. Lucas obviously called in last night in the afterthought. What did you make of it last night, Jay?
An interesting one. First of all, Irons Analysis in chat. Appreciate the kind comments. Yeah, obviously I was there. It was a flying start. How we weren't ahead after a minute was baffling, to be honest. I haven't seen anything back other than the Newcastle goal, so I don't know how gilt-edged the chance was, but it looked pretty gilt-edged from the other side of the ground. And first 10 minutes, I thought we were brilliant. I thought we were absolutely excellent. I felt the game was naturally going to swing Newcastle's way at some point. They started to build momentum. Newcastle were up to their old selves. Ball in playtime, I bet it was criminal. Players rolling around on the floor. We built up a head of steam. They slowed the game down massively. We lost all our momentum. It switched the other way. Newcastle had the run of the mill in the rest of the first half, I thought, but at the same time, I didn't feel like they were creating anything like crazy. I know Areola made a really good save in the first half and a couple of brilliant saves in the second half as well. You get to the second half. Again, I felt like we started the second half pretty well. Goal goes in. You could talk about the Kilman thing. Yeah, there's hands in the back. It would have been soft. If it was Arsenal at home, would Arsenal have got that? Probably. Would Chelsea have got that? Probably. But we're never getting a decision like that. I'm not going to bemoan that too much because I don't think we did enough to deserve anything out of the game, to be honest. Didn't create a huge amount in the second half. It was pretty boring. The subs didn't quite change the game, and I thought Newcastle were good value for a 1-0 win, to be honest. We didn't really trouble them enough, and we didn't really offer enough. I think this is probably what we're going to expect. I put a tweet out last night with my thoughts on the game. I thought there was a lot of very reactionary comments flying around. I've not seen anything from your guys afterthought, but My opinion was we lost. Yeah, we lost to a team that's a better team, to be honest. They didn't have to try particularly hard. I was disappointed we didn't give them more of a game. But Newcastle are fighting for Champions League football and we're in a cup final on the weekend. We're going to finish probably 16th or 15th. You've got Graham Potter, who's been there 2 months, who's playing with a guy's squad who couldn't get them to play the style of football that he wanted. Yeah, and we're playing our third style of football in 9 months under our third manager. So, we're going to have to just dig in, to be honest. I'm sure we'll go through. Yeah, and I feel like this is going to be round 2 for you and me, James. I think we're going to have to dig in, and I think this is going to be pretty miserable towards the end of the season, but it's building towards next season. So I kind of got to take it.
I get what you're saying, but this system, it just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work because when you go a goal down, then what happens?
I'm happy to have this conversation with you because I thought this would be a big talking point because we go a goal down, and last night we were already looking to make the changes. We already had players on the touchline ready to come on. You've got the Todibo coming off for Mavropanos is always going to be miserable, but I do think he's being sensible with Todibo and really managing his minutes until he's happy that he's fully fit. So I've got no issue with it really. I thought Todibo was pretty decent. What else did you have? You had Paqueta come on and you had Soler come on, which I thought were the right changes. We needed more energy. We needed more creativity. Paqueta's clearly not fully fit yet. But like the fact of the matter is, and then Ferguson comes on a few minutes later. I would have brought him on earlier, to be honest, but so be it. That's what you do. And he threw bodies forwards. We ended up with Dingsy playing in the 10. We went more attacking. I understand what he was trying to do. Look at on the flip side and look at the problem that Graham Potter looks like he solved. We had the worst defense we had ever had in the Premier League era this time last season and at the start of this season. We're off the back of 2 wins, 2 clean sheets. He's conceded just over 1 goal a game since Potter's been in charge. So he's addressed a massive, massive problem. I'd rather we be at 0-0 an hour in. It's not going to be pretty. I'm not sitting here saying that I had a great time last night, but I'd rather then roll the dice and then bring players on. We just don't have the squad to bring players on, in my opinion. We don't have enough bodies.
Yeah, but I understand that. Listen, I understand what you're trying to say, but on this one, like, when do you go for it then? Like, that's the argument that I've got is like, well, you've got a back 5 against Leicester, you've got a back 5 against Newcastle. I understand not shipping goals, but a 12-day break for me it's justifiable for them to go to keep Todibo on the pitch. Like, let's put it this way: we got Everton next week, and then we haven't got a game for 2 weeks. Like, I don't get like how much fucking more time does players need to be fit? Like, if this is John Clare Todibo, who's £40 million, and he can't do 90 minutes, that is a problem for me.
I mean, you can blame him solely for what he did in the summer, not being fit.
I know what you're saying, but I just felt last night, before I hand it over to Lucas to have his say, I just felt last night that the system just did not match what we're trying to do. Like we are playing it's a low block with a counter-attacking style, basically. That's what it is. It's not a possession-based game. I know that.
How can you say that? We had 51% possession last night.
51% possession, but no shots on target in the second half, mate.
Then,
like, not one.
But how? Okay, low block has nothing to do with the amount of shots.
But the problem is, if you're defending mainly, you're always going to be in a defensive.
We had 51% possession. That's not defensive in my eyes.
It is when you're not having a shot on target, mate.
Can I say what I thought the problem was? And this is because I'm happy to talk about the system. I don't think the system's the problem. It's the personnel that we've got that are playing in the system at the moment. And there's a few facets to this.
Oh, AKA you mean none of his players?
Exactly.
None of these guys are his players.
No
exactly.
Way.
And let me just land on this, right? So when we got the ball deep, and so let's say we were in periods where Newcastle were on top and we win the ball back. If Newcastle had started to press us, we naturally were trying to play out of the back. We had 3 midfielders in there. They were all passive last night. None of them really wanted to drop in and take the ball and be that guy who was going to give a 1-2.
It was all match. It was dross. It was a midfield. Like, all the action was in the midfield. And to be honest, all 6 midfielders that played on our side and the other side, they were shit.
Yeah. And so what happened was Areola would play it to a centre-back. The centre-back plays it back to Areola. We lump it forward at Kudus and Bowen, who are never going to win the aerial duels against Cher and Dan Burn. So issue, just very quickly, the issue that I was seeing was not the fact that the system was set up and it wasn't necessarily doing what it was supposed to do. To Lucas's point, we had plenty of possession, but we didn't have a focal point in attack. I actually agree. We probably should have changed it at half-time, in my opinion. I was sitting there thinking I'd probably take a midfielder off for Evan Ferguson. Get a centre forward on, allow Bowen to drift a bit wider, and then maybe change it, go back to the box midfield, which I think is where that's the gold star. I think that's where we're trying to get to. But I felt like in the first half, we weren't necessarily in a low block. We just couldn't get out. So like I feel like the system, and let's like, we can debate whether the system works or not, whether people like it or not. This is what he's going to do next season. Like we knew that Potter is
I don't think it's going to last. I don't think
it has to. Like, everywhere he goes, he plays free at the back. This is what he's going to do.
Real quick, I need to say this. I don't want to hear anyone saying, I trust Potter, but I don't trust the system, because you're just putting that.
I said that.
No. In my opinion,
I said them fucking words. I'll say them again.
You're putting some sort of delusion in your head that he's going to change when he's not. He's not going to play 4-4-2. He's not going to play 4-3-3. He maybe will play 4-2-3-1 in a specific match, but he's always going to play 3 or 5 in the back 9.9 times out of 10.
It won't
No, and that's fine. That opinion is fine. But I don't
Right.
want to hear. I don't want to hear people saying I trust him, but he should play 4-3-3, 4-4-2.
It-
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but the problem is you can't keep playing 5 at the back all the time consistently.
But that's Graham Potter. That is who we appointed.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not buying this
People
one.
wanted this.
Yeah, well, no. Listen, I understand what you're saying about what people wanted, because I'm going to be straight. People don't know what the fuck they want, right? On this one, though, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, last night, why does Cresswell have to play? Evan Ferguson, right?
Cresswell's been good the past however many matches he's been playing in that role.
But
he's been good.
Right. Let me ask you this then: how are we supposed to look at Evan Ferguson if he's only coming on in games where we're either 1-0 down or the game's dead?
That I can agree with.
Yeah, like I'm not being funny enough. You take Cresswell out, you put Evan Ferguson in, you have Kudus and Bowen next to him. That's a completely different mindset to 5 at the back with Kudus and Bowen up front. Kudus and Bowen up front.
Yeah, but I hear it. I'm just saying, like, he plays 3 in the back and 5 in the back. That is never going to change. It's just not going to change. It won't.
Yeah, I'm just on this.
If you're not, and if you're not on it, that's fine. That's your opinion. I totally respect that, because everyone looks at football differently, clearly, and everyone has their own preferences. But people, in my opinion, you're setting yourself up to be like angry and upset and waiting. And waiting for something to happen that's just not going to happen.
No, at the end of the day, right, the geezer needs time. Yeah, and I'll be the first one to say it. The man needs time to bring his players in and all that. But last night and this season as a whole, yeah, what are we learning here? Like, do you know what I'm saying? We're not really learning a lot. Do you know what I mean? Evan Ferguson has come here for a purpose, right? Because we're looking to potentially buy the man, right? Why is he not starting a game?
I'll answer those 2 questions. What are we learning? First and foremost, we're learning that we are not shit defensively. We just had shit defensive coaches. And now we're conceding just over a goal a game, back-to-back clean sheets. The system worked the last 2 games. The system 100% worked. We played the same team. We played the same system away at Arsenal. We won 1-0 in what was a brilliant day. We won 2-0 at home to Leicester in what was a drab affair, but it was the same personnel, probably the same issues, but playing against the worst team.
I just want to say this, Jay, quick, I'll get the last 2, but let's talk about Crystal Palace. Let's talk about Brentford, right? Let's talk about these games and all, because what comes with good, the opposite to good is bad, right? What's right and right? One side's right, one side's wrong. Like, there's no balance. Like, you've got to be balanced here. And at the end of the day, last night I see no attacking threat, none. Like, in the second half, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, there's not one shot on target at home against the Newcastle side. And let's have it right, didn't get out of second gear. They didn't really need to do anything. Areola kept us in that game last night, massively kept us in that game, right? Otherwise, it would have been more damage. And I'm going to say it, and I am going to fucking say it, right? This is no different to the Moyes situation, right? But it's just with a bit more better passing.
Okay,
it really is.
So, and I'll accept that as an opinion, because I can see the comparisons. I can see the feeling around the stadium does kind of feel the same. Like, people get frustrated when players are turning backwards and passing the ball backwards and stuff. I understand that. I'll tell you what I thought the problem was. There's 2 problems here. One is Potter's not had a centre forward fit to start a game since he's been in charge. Evan Ferguson, I actually think he'll start next game. I think he's only just probably fit enough to get an hour out of him. He's looked gassed after 30 minutes every time he's played so far. He'll then go away with Ireland and probably start a couple of games, and it will build up his fitness. So after the international break, I think Ferguson will be fully fit, and then we can start judging him, right? The second issue, I thought, was the wing-backs. So the wing-backs, you've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Ollie Scholes, who I thought both of them were fine last night. I had no issue with either of them, but neither of their game is to go beyond Jared Bowen and Mohamed Kudus and get to the byline. And that's what that system needed. We needed someone to create that diversion, create that run. And when Bowen went out to the right and Wan-Bissaka started doing it, he was dragging the fullback and Bowen was finding himself in that perfect spot where he had a half space on the corner of the box. So we don't have wing-backs that do that as of yet. Ollie Scholes will get there. We've got a 19-year-old who started 3 Premier League games, maybe 4, I can't remember. And he looks really comfortable on the ball, but he will learn every game that he plays about what runs to be making at his opposition fullback. And he wasn't doing it last night. I'm not bothered because he's got to figure that out. That's no problem at all. So we need wing backs that are capable of doing that. I've said before, I think Kyle Walker-Peters comes in, and I think Wan-Bissaka switches to right centre-back, and Cresswell probably drops out the side. Then instead of having the left-hand side of two forward-thinking, like a wide centre-back and a wing-back, you'll have it on the right-hand side with Walker-Peters and Wan-Bissaka, because they'll be able to interchange and overlap, and that will be really fun to watch, I think. So that's where we're going to get to. We're not there yet. So I think a lot of the reasons we didn't create enough chances was there was nobody trying to run him beyond.
Yeah, but Jay, I get that. And I shout out to Damien, who's in the fucking chat. He just put something there, yeah? And I'm exactly the same as that man, right? I'm backing Potter, but you have to call it as you see it. And as I see it last night, it was not right. And the problem is we've got a big game on Saturday against our ex-manager. If he gets done up there, yeah, people are going to start asking questions. I can understand it. I'm seeing it a lot. Like people are saying, well, it's too slow, it's too pedestrian, and we're passing it sideways and back. If that is the case, then why is not... Listen, I don't rate Carlos Soler, but he's a creative outlet. You don't go with three players who ain't going to create nothing, do you? Yeah, it's kind, but it's like, what else can you do? Like, you either go 4-3-3, Evan Ferguson, Kudus, Bowen, and then have like Paqueta or Soler as a sort of creator and two enforcers in there. I just don't. For me, the five at the back, it just doesn't work. I've seen this so many times at West Ham where we've tried to play this system and we look shit in it. Do you know what I'm saying? And before I hand over to Lucas, how many players can you really see in this team right now or in this squad right now who can go on to play that system next year? Probably Bowen.
That's like one of the biggest points. That none of these guys he probably wants or wanted. I was talking to Mitch a little bit yesterday. Like, really, there might be a handful of guys that Potter would keep. And right now, if he has to keep surplus to requirement players who we can't get rid of, this is the perfect time for them to get used to what we're going to try and do. And again, he's only been in charge for 9 matches. You can't turn water into wine.
I'm not against the geezer, but fuck me, right? You've got to be able to create chances. Otherwise,
but that is not. Again, that is coming back to like false hope, in my opinion. Graham Potter, when has he ever been known for that? Ever? He has not been known for that. He is a XG god. That's what he is. He doesn't get off a lot of shots, doesn't score a lot of goals, but the XG trophy at the end of the season will be ours, guaranteed. But that's what he is, and I can't see me.
It won't last long. I'm telling you.
And that's fine. That is fine. That's a solid opinion. But I'm telling you, people that are putting this false hope into their head, they're only setting themselves up.
I understand what you're saying. Listen, I completely get what you're saying. But for me personally, if this season's a dead season and we're not going to look like to go down, right? Well, why the fuck are we setting up with 5 defensive players at the back, 3 defensive sort of midfielders in midfield, and only having 2 attackers? If that is the case, because
how Graham Potter plays.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
How he plays.
Well, if that is the case, then Lucas, and if you're telling me this, and before I get over to Jay, this is quite a lively one, right? If that's how he plays, then this ain't going to last long. I'm going to be honest, it won't last long because people ain't going to.
And that is something where we are literally going to have to wait till for next season because dead season. How are you going to turn it around in 9 matches and you don't have literally more than 5 players that you would go out on a limb and say, yeah, these are my type of guys. Again, this is a wait for next season type ordeal. We cannot predict the future with Potter at this very second.
Well, if that is the case,
and if you can, I want you to give me the numbers for the lottery.
Right. If that is the case, before I let Jay land on what he wants to say, yeah. If that is the case, you tell me, both of you, what players we are keeping next year then. Because from my thinking, I see about 5 or 6 at best.
And that's fine. Like you look at it, and you've just answered the question as to why are we doing this. So why are we doing this right now? Why are we playing the midfield that we're playing? We're playing it because we've got no other fucking player who can play there, to be honest. So you look at that back 5 to start with, and the goalkeeper, So Areola will be here next season. I think he's shown how good a shot stopper he can be. We know he's shit at kicking. We know he's crap at distribution. That's fine. Like, I can accept that because we've got limited budget in the summer. Wan-Bissaka, Hammer of the Year contender. Tadebo's been playing some of his best football in the last few weeks. Kilman was solid last night, bar a potential mistake for the goal. I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah.
Cresswell potentially isn't going to be there. Ollie Scales will be there. That's 5 out of 6 players that I've just mentioned who will be there and probably be starting games next season. You bring in Kyle Walker-Peters on a free, who suits that kind of system. That's 6 of your players already. Jared Bowen is still going to be there. Jared Bowen will be here for the future. That's 7 players already. Kudus will potentially be there. And I think the midfield does need, we know we need reinforcements in midfield. We know we need a 6. We know we lack creativity. And we know we need a centre forward. So that's 3 places that you need to improve. The majority of this team plays next year. So what they need to be doing is figuring out how to defend first and foremost, because the majority of that defensive unit will be playing next season. And that's what we figured out so far.
But I agree with that comment from Frog in the Wall. Oh, well, sorry. Right. The squad ain't magically going to get it over the summer.
And I agree. But what I'm saying is defensively, they've got it. Defensively, they've figured it out. It's going forward where we know that we need reinforcements and we know that we need more players. So that's where we're going to get more players.
And I agree. I agree with that comment that it's not magically going to get better over the summer. But we have literally brought in 2 guys that is their MO. That is what they did at Brighton. They don't buy players off talent. They buy players who are going to fit the system, and they've got the little bit extra to push them to a higher ceiling. We've seen it. We've seen it at Brighton.
Right.
And that's what I'm hoping for in the summer.
Yeah, but right. Okay. If yous are gonna go, right, leave it to that, right? I can understand that. I disagree. I look at this like, how do we score 2 goals with this system? Yeah. And my argument is to this, and this is where I'm going to hand it over to both of you to sort of land, is if a team goes 1-0 up against us, we have got no way of breaking a team down in this system currently right now.
Depends on who starts.
I don't think it fucking matters, mate. Like, all season we've struggled to break teams down, right? Last night proved it. We go 1-0 down and we had nothing about us. So I need to know how we break a team down with a 5-3-2, because that is basically what it is. It ain't a 3-4-3. A 3-4-3.
But a 5-3-2, that's not. Again, I know that's what we played. Yes, that's what we played yesterday. We played against Arsenal as well, but that's not going to be us going forward. We're literally dealing with scraps right now. Fulkrug was out, Paqueta was hurt, who just came back, and again, hindsight is a beautiful thing. But now I would be confident in to say that if we need a bit more creativity, I think Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, or Souček, I don't care which one of the 3, will probably be dropped for Paqueta if we go in a 5-3-2 again, because we had 0 creativity.
Before I let Jay land on what he wants to say, right, is Potter a bit stubborn?
Yeah, but you can say, is he a bit stubborn? He has a way of playing.
How can you say that now at this moment?
This is the thing.
But you can after 3 in a row.
But he has a way of playing. The thing that I'm most surprised about is that people are surprised at what they're seeing. Like, we knew his footballing philosophy. We knew the type of manager he was.
Saying, Joe,
we said it. We said when he was. The 3 of us sat here and had this conversation when Lopetegui was on the verge and Potter was being announced, and we were like, "What do we think?" And I was like, "It's not inspiring, and it's going to create the same problem."
And this is still way better. This is still way better, in my opinion.
Yeah, but this is the point. The thing that I'm baffled about is that people are sitting here going, "Oh, this isn't great. Like this isn't what I expected." Like, what did you expect? Like, I genuinely don't know what people were expecting to see. Like, this is it.
I get what you're saying. But I can't really speak for anyone else. Yeah, but all I can see it through my own eyes. Now, my argument is what happens when we do go down with this system the way it is. Yeah. And I just don't see how we can spin a game around from a 5-3-2. I just can't see it. I don't think we've got enough pace in there. And I understand what people are saying, but if this is a dead season, wouldn't it be better to be a bit more expansive, playing Evan Ferguson? Like, for instance, come Saturday afternoon, Evan's got to play. And if he goes with Kudus, Bowen, and he plays the same team again, that's a stubborn bastard for me. That is like, you're becoming stubborn then.
This is the thing, you know he doesn't play a 5-3-2. We're literally dealing with the situation at hand. He plays a 3-4-2-1 or a 3-4-3, however you want to slice it. And I'm sure with a fully fit squad for the rest of the season, and he can have his pick of any players who are healthy and not injured, we're not going to see a 5-3-2. We're just dealing with what we have at the moment. Fulkrug just got back. Paqueta got hurt, and now he's just back.
Right.
Like, we're just dealing with it. And again, the season's dead. All we can hope for, the only thing I want to see is progression in some of these players. And I have been seeing some progression. So that's just my opinion, but it is what it is.
Before Damien comes on, Jay, anything you want to land on?
I just Lucas and I are pretty well aligned on this. The what we're aiming for is the box midfield, which is why what I say is it ain't going to get any better this season. People need to just like chill out a little bit, because the whole idea of what we're doing is that the 5 at the back, the 3 with 2 wing backs, however you want to like piece it, is what we're going to see next season. So the more those guys play and the more they get used to it, the better it is for us. That 3 in midfield we know needs to be different. I can see Bowen and Kudus, or if Kudus leaves, someone else.
No one wants to see a midfield 3 of Souček, Ward-Prowse, and Alvarez. Nobody wants to see that at the end of the day.
Yeah, Ward-Prowse come back because we were so short in midfield and we were so poor in the middle that we needed someone with energy to come in. And he's delivered that. I'm not going to say he was great last night, because he wasn't. But when we had the chance to trigger a press, he was the guy that stepped on and led it, and we turned the ball over and we won it back. So what we're going to see next season is 2 midfielders deeper, 2 midfielders more advanced, and a centre forward. It will change. It will get better, but just got to be patient with it.
Yeah, I agree with M5. Emma there. Yeah. You probably don't agree. We're safe. Throw caution to the wind. Make changes.
I agree. I agree with that. But people that are saying that we need to experiment with a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1, that is not happening. We are going to shake up the formation we are playing with different players.
Yeah,
that's how it's going to work.
That tells me right there that it's stubbornness then.
But then is Pep stubborn then? So I know he's a different person. But Pep's stubborn then. He has his way of playing, and he's never changed it, even when they were shit. He has a philosophy, he has a way of playing.
I understand that, but I can accept it against Arsenal away. But can you really accept being 5 defenders? Because what people say,
hey, we're playing Newcastle. Newcastle are a good side.
Oh no way, mate! I'm not going to sit there. No,
Newcastle aren't a good side.
Right, fucking Lopetegui fucking beat them, mate. Fucking, you know what I'm saying? Lopetegui's fucking shit. So yeah, like at the end of the day, you've got to be real on this. 3 games in a row, right? Same. The
table
players,
doesn't lie. That's all I'm saying. Newcastle are where they are because they are a good side.
Newcastle got Isak, and look what we got. Fuck. Do you know? Fucking know.
That's what we're saying.
They have one of the best midfields in the league.
That's what we're saying. It's not the system. It's the players they've got. They're not playing a system which is just factually better than us. They've got better players than us. It's as simple as that. Isak's top quality. He was shit last night. They called on Bruno Guimaraes, who is also top quality, alongside Sandro Tonali, who's top quality. They didn't even play well. They just have more good players than we do. It's as simple as that.
Well, this is a cracker, this one, I must admit. Right, Damien, you got 5 minutes. Take it away, sir.
Yeah, I'm just all right, everyone. What's going on? But
good, mate.
Yeah, good. Yeah, man. I do. I think there's. I think I fall in the middle of kind of James and Lucas and Jay. It was boring yesterday. I'll be honest.
It was shit.
It was pretty uninspiring. But I do think there's it is going to improve. It has to commit another body forward. I think there's an element of use one, you keep the shirt. Use one, you keep the shirt kind of thing. And I think that's his way of kind of gaining trust of the group, maybe, or putting value on the shirt. But it was terrible to watch yesterday, though, I'll be honest. But to be honest, it is a bit of a, to me personally, where everyone's coming back at the same time, Ferguson, Paqueta, Fulkrug, you're kind of thinking to yourself, who goes in to change the dynamic kind of thing. So it's I think it was so it just works against certain teams and doesn't work against other teams. Basically, I think with Arsenal was so in the motion of going to want to win every single game and have been all season that they're going to play as high a line as possible and want to play on the front foot as possible and leave space for the likes.
Yeah, but Damien, I'm just going to say this quickly, yeah, right. But what do you do in a situation when you go 1-0 down against the side.
No, I totally agree. I think this people trying to say, 5-3-2 isn't a defensive formation if this and this. No, 5-3-2 is a defensive formation. You can't tell me you're dropping a striker or an attacker for a centre back and it's not a defensive formation. Like that, it is a defensive formation. So I totally agree with you, James. If you're playing that setup and you go 1-0 down, it's tough. Like you have to change it. And to be honest, if I'm going to be totally honest, when he did bring the subs on, I was kind of like, I have no idea what's going on now. I don't think any of the players did, to be honest. I was thinking, where's Paqueta going to go? Where's Danny Ings going to go? This one, that one. I had no idea. But there's a lot of work to be done, to be honest. And if I'm going to be real, I think the ideal situation for him would be to look a little bit more like we did against Villa, where there is the focal point to go to as well. So I don't know. It does seem a bit rich to kind of lap up the first 2 wins and then oh no, he's boring. As soon as we lose one. So
but hold on a minute before I let Jay land. Yeah, I just want to say this, right. First things first. Number one, when we played Crystal Palace and Brentford, yeah, he played the same way again, right? And people had the ump with that, yeah. Fair enough, right? We got the result against Arsenal, which was a great result.
No, we played differently against Brentford, didn't we?
Not really.
No, I didn't watch the Brentford game.
It was like the same, right? The Leicester game, I'm not even going to fucking count the Leicester game because I expect West Ham United to beat fucking Leicester at home. Like, I'm not being rude, right? Agree. When they're fucking bottom of the fucking league. So, Arsenal game, great result, but we set up in one thing with this club that we all know as a fan base, yeah, is that we know how to do a low block from a 1-0 position of lead, right?
Many years of experience,
right? We know how to do it, and we know how to see a game out. Jay, what do you want to say to Damien?
Real quick, mind you, we played a 4-2-3-1 against Brentford.
I thought it looked like I didn't watch the game, but it looked like a 4-2-3-1 at least on paper.
That was when Soler was playing out wide. I remember because I was there. And what do you know?
You bastard. Yeah. Fair enough, Lucas. Catching me in the lie, you bastard. Jay,
he's done it all the time.
Jay, what you saying?
First of all, Damien's made some really, really good points. The thing I want to talk about is what defines a defensive formation. Because how do you classify something as a defensive formation? But no. But it's about how you play with the numbers.
No.
Damien, let him land, bro.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
That's a defensive formation, man.
Good, Jay.
Let me finish what I'm saying, because it depends on how you approach the game. Because you have 3 centre-backs, Cresswell still pushes forward. Cresswell still gets involved when you attack.
Oh, you're describing Cresswell as an attacking impetus, yeah? You're describing... So part of the attacking strategy for Potter is Cresswell.
Right, Damien, let me finish my point. Let me finish my point.
Go on, go.
Let me finish my point. I'm not describing a player as an attacking player. I'm describing what Graham Potter described when he first joined the club. If we don't necessarily have a quality advantage, we'll look for a numerical advantage somewhere. It wasn't executed right yesterday because the players that we have playing in certain positions are not executing what they would need to do to create those overloads. So why I mentioned Aaron Cresswell is because Aaron Cresswell moves up, designed to give Ollie Scholes more space to move forward and run in behind his fullback, which somebody, I think Trudge made a point in chat just a moment ago, which I completely agree with. He's not there yet. He's 19 years old. So what he wasn't doing is making the runs to try and get to the byline, which leaves Cresswell and Ward-Prowse spare to play crosses over to Thomas Souček at the far side. And it doesn't then create the space for Kudus on the between the centre-back and the fullback. That wasn't happening among the wing-backs. So this formation that's supposedly defensive, which enabled us to have 51% of the ball, just wasn't executed right. It doesn't make it necessarily a defensive formation. It just means that the players are in different positions to create different overloads in different areas.
But when you say, though, Jay, before I let Damien unmute him, let him have his final say, but when you say in the second half, it is a bit defensive because we ain't doing no attacking to a point.
And then I agree. And that's where what Lucas and I both said is this isn't how we're going to be long term. I would rather we have Evan Ferguson starting, but he's not been fit enough to start. So when Evan Ferguson starts and you've got a focal point there and you've got 2 10s, again, you have different players. It's fluid in different ways and you create the overloads in different places as well. And then you'll see it as being more attacking, but we don't have a fit striker at the moment. So we're just making do with what we've got.
Yeah, right. Damien, any final words from you and make them short, son?
No, I do. I just, to me, 3-5-2 is a defensive formation. It just, the thing is, I get it. It's practical, right? You're getting attacking bodies nearer central to goal, but you're still, right? If you start comparing the profile of players and the names that are being used in comparison in different systems that we've seen at West Ham. Bro, the names kind of describe themselves, bro. Seriously, you're like, I don't know. If you look at, say, for example, you're looking at our formation in the final, for example, what you're replacing a Creswell with a Ben Rama, like a winger for a fullback. It's a defensive formation. No matter what anyone says, it is a defensive formation.
See on that, I'm not being funny. I do make Damien right.
Paqueta for another centre back or something like that, or another fullback. Like it is defensive. Like no one can deny that it is defensive. And to be honest, people will realise I'm not against pragmatism, but I do think you need to lose a midfielder for another outlet. Having Bowen and Kudus just chasing these kind of, it's almost hoping on a.
Yeah, I agree.
All I see was hoping on a poor clearance from a centre back to kind of win it in a second spell, or maybe Kudus or Bowen get onto like a chipped over ball. You've got to exploit the wing backs if you're doing that as well. You have to make sure your wing backs are providing 5-6 overlaps a game. I'm not against what Potter's doing, to be honest. I'm not against what Potter's doing. Well, people are able to make mistakes, but I do think we'll see what happens. We'll see.
I think the main thing, really quick,
flexible, man.
The main thing is I think we just shouldn't get hung up on this 5-3-2, 3-5-2 thing, because that's genuinely not the way he plays. We are only doing that right now because, like Damien said, like everyone else said, we have no fit strikers. We have literally no choice. Yeah. So hopefully Ferguson gets fit over international break with Ireland. He comes back and play.
Antonio's back, man. Antonio's back.
Yeah. Oh, trust. I got some tweets bookmarked. Right. Oh, he'll never play with us again.
Right. Listen, I'm going to let Damien go because we've got other people.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, Damien.
Cheers,
Damien. Love to talk that, son, honestly. Do you know what I mean? Right. AD lad, take it away, mate. What you saying?
Hi, lads. Hi. Nice to talk to all of you. I'm going to be honest. I just think there's been a massive overreaction regarding yesterday's game. I don't think we were great, but I think people are just going berserk about a game where it was actually a close game. I mean, Newcastle are a very good side. We are forgetting that they have one of the best midfielders in the world in Bruno Guimaraes. They have Sandro Tonali, who's a very good midfielder, and Joel Linton. And when you compare that to our midfield, look at our midfield. I mean, we have Ward-Prowse, who was Nottingham Forest's 5th choice. That guy has become our best midfielder right now. Souček is nowhere near good enough, and nor is Alvarez. And the reason we play a 5 at the back is, if you remember in the Brentford game, we played a 4 at the back, and we got absolutely murdered in the first half. They were creating chance after chance after chance.
Outlets, encounters galore.
Exactly. And the reason for that was because Alvarez and Souček don't have the legs to cover long spaces. And that is why Potter compacts the entire field by playing 5 players, like we say. And
they had 2 goals called offside as well. Sorry.
Exactly. And we looked much better against Arsenal. We looked really good against Leicester as well, where we controlled the game. Yeah, sure. Attackingly, we didn't look prime, amazing or champagne football. But for me, I thought we looked solid. And well, I mean, they scored a great goal, to be honest. They went in behind. They scored a great goal. At this moment, we cannot really expect much from Potter because he doesn't have the players, in my opinion, especially the midfield, to play the driving, attacking, intense football that we want to see. We can only judge him once we get those midfielders in the summer. Until then,
I'm sorry. I heard what you said. Yeah. But there is no guarantee that whoever he brings in in the summer is going to work straight away. Right?
You're
So-
right. You're right.
No,
but again,
hold on. Let me
All right.
land, brother. I know you're keen, but let me land. Right. First things first, he goes and brings a load of players in. They've all got to gel into the side, right? Because this word, time to fucking gel, I heard that so many times this last summer. I'm going to hear it again this summer, right? I've got not a problem with Potter, but the system is a problem. Because when you don't have one shot on target in the second half against Newcastle United, a side that was in second gear against us, a side that's got a cup
I
final
don't agree
coming
with
up.
that. I don't agree with that. I think we made them look like they're in second gear because we defended really well. Isak didn't have any space to do anything. Howie Barnes was shut
So
out.
how do we score? How do we score a goal then, mate? If we don't have a shot on target, how are we supposed to score?
Look, I agree that we don't create enough chances. I agree with you, but at the same time, I think at this moment we cannot go gung ho against teams. We cannot say we're gonna take you on. We just don't have the capacity to do that. So what we have to do is we have to be foundationally defensively strong first, and then we can attack.
Yes.
That's how we scored our goal against Arsenal.
Right.
Yeah.
Before I let Jay have his say with what's being said. So come Saturday, we're playing Moyes. Yeah, and that's a man who loves a low block, and we all know that. So if we set up 5 at the back again, then what happens?
I would set up 5 at the back, but I would not
That's what
play.
happens.
I
It's
would not-
banker 0-0.
I would not play Souček and I would not play Alvarez. I would play Soler and I would play Paqueta next to James Ward-Prowse because I think they give you more control when you have the ball. I agree that in terms of height, which Moyes loves his set pieces, that might be a bit of a problem. I believe Potter
It'll be a big
won't play Alvarez and he will play Paqueta alongside Souček because I believe he thinks Souček is really important because he can come up with those goals and he's good at the set pieces. But when it comes to I think he will play the 5 at the back, and I think he should continue playing the 5 because we got killed playing the 4 against Crystal Palace, against Brentford. We just don't have, and against Idrissa Gana Gueye and Doucouré, there is no way we can play the 4. We're going to get murdered, And then everybody's going to come on here and say, oh my God, look at how we look defensively. That's pathetic. How do we look defensively, Everyone's going to complain.
Yeah, but then you've got to have balance that, though, mate. Yeah, before I let Jay say
Yeah,
that,
but that's how you
right?
balance it by playing a 5.
Yeah,
That's my
I know, but it's okay playing a 5. But I just asked you a question and said, well, how are we supposed to score a goal if we don't have a shot on target? How are we supposed to get players in the final attacking third if they're so defensive?
If we have the way we score a goal is by having midfielders with better ability on the ball who can create chances like Paqueta, like Soler, who are much better. I know they're not the upper echelon, but they're better than Alvarez or Souček. That's how you create chances. You have Soler play those combination plays with Bowen on the wing. You have Paqueta getting involved. We know Paqueta loves this combination play. We have, that's how we score. And I think Ferguson plays as well, in my opinion.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so, for God's sake. Jay, anything on the land?
I agree with pretty much everything. I thought that was really really good input. I agree. I actually think 2 of the centre midfielders will come out, 1 for Paqueta and 1 for Ferguson. We will probably see us go to the box midfields. We are away at Goodison Park, small pitch, not a lot of spaces. You're going to need someone who's going to be able to pick apart a low block. We, better than anyone, will know how David Moyes likes to set up. We'll know how good he is on the counter. So, lo and behold, we're going to play. This is going to blow Damien and a lot of people's minds here. We're going to play 3 at the back. It's going to be a formation that's designed to dominate possession and control the game. We're going to play 2 midfielders in there, one of whom I expect to be Paqueta, who will be able to play balls that will be incisive and will ask questions of the defence. We will probably drop Kudus and Bowen a little bit deeper, and we'll play Evan Ferguson. That, my friends, is a 3/5 at the back, however you want to call it, that's designed to be attacking and designed to play on the front foot. It's about overloads. It's not about the amount of players.
And I want to say this very, very quick to James's point about the gelling in and all that. I totally agree and understand. But this is the thing with Potter and McCauley that I'm hopeful for. These are 2 guys who have proven that you don't need a ton of time to gel in because they buy the correct players who fit the system and our talents. That's the difference between some of Moyes' signings, Lopetegui for goddamn sure. That's the hope I'm holding on to. And I'm not, and again, I'm not saying hope is great. I'm not a fan of delusion. But to me, when Potter came in, that's one of the first things I thought of. And when you look at these players that we're interested in or linked with, they fit exactly the way he wants to play in the 3-4-2-1.
Just to add to that, I mean, look at Potter at Brighton. He was the one that made Moises Caicedo the player that he is today. He's the one that made Alexis McAllister the player that he is today. He's the guy who made Alexis McAllister from an attacking midfielder to almost like a DM/center midfielder. He's the guy that has made these players the players that they are today, and they went for huge money to other
I might
clubs.
as well be in a jazz club right now, honestly.
I like this guy. I got a lot of time for this.
This
guy.
is
AD, don't come back here again, bro.
Don't come on his channel and talk sense.
We don't want you here, AD, no more.
This is slam poetry to my ears right now.
I'm just gonna leave with this. I'm just gonna say my last thing. I'm gonna leave this. I think for me, the most important thing that we should be looking forward to is the summer transfer window, because that's going to judge what's going to happen next season. If we back Potter and Macaulay doesn't need a lot of money, by the way. These guys that he got were for really low money. Cairo Mitoma was his signing, by the way, from the freaking Belgium league that he signed him from.
Yeah.
So I think we just need players who are, first of all, midfielders with energy, with intensity, who are good on the ball. Lamine Camara at Monaco is one player who is unbelievably good. I like Leslie Ugochukwu, who's at Chelsea, who's very physically dominant, who's good on the ball. These are the kind of players that we need, not the Alvarez's, who looks like he's running on sand when he runs. And Souček, who I love Souček, but unfortunately he just doesn't have the legs and the ability to play possession football. And James Ward-Prowse, our Nottingham Forest fifth choice best midfielder, is our best midfielder. So, you know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, AD. Thank you very much for coming, mate. I'll let you go.
Guys. Thank
Thank you, mate.
That was AD. You know what I mean? They're spitting facts on these
Hall of
these
Fame
own
cameo.
That was
mate.
unreal.
I got the fucking jazz band in here like that. All that shit. Right, let's get Kane in. Kane and CJ. I'll bring them both together and then we'll be done. Kane, what you saying?
Evening, guys. Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Loud
all
and clear. Go, man.
Listen, I want to give a shout out to Thomas Souček, Hammer of the Year so far. A lot of people come out the woodwork right now, criticising him and like, no, he's not been that good. But I've seen guys that apparently the best cameo ever was going to Goodison Park with Soler, Ward-Prowse, and who else it was? Guido or something. You want to go there with Ndai, not Ndai, Gay.
Yeah.
Decore, Ghana. That midfield, because you hate Souček that much. That's not man. Thomas Souček will be back next week. Probably score enough from David Moyes last minute. I want to say this as well. I agree with you, 20. Yeah, we're going into games pretty much not creating anything right now. And this whole pre-season gimmick, shut up, man. Right? We're creating nothing. We're creating nothing. I've got people coming in glazing it going, oh, look, Graham Potter created this super team. This super Brighton team that's scored like 42 goals. Shut up, man.
But what they forget, though, Kane,
what's this?
Kane, what they forget is Brighton fans were fucking booing Potter. He
was drawing about 10 games in a row. And then he's like, as soon as this guy signs Angel Gomez, I'm on this guy's back. I can't wait for it. Game week 1, London Stadium.
That is the only way. That is the only way I will immediately turn.
Yeah, listen, before we move on any further, Kane, are you underwater, mate? Because your mic is fucked, brother.
I don't know what's wrong with it. I lost my headphones.
Yeah, well, listen, I will send some headphones to you, mate. Yeah, mate. Right, CJ, what you saying?
Yeah, evening, lads. I just want to talk on the system because I feel like there's just too much of a meltdown for me over the system. I think Jay said it right earlier. I joined late, but I skipped back. I think Jay's spot on in terms of Graham Potter's come in, and our biggest thing was conceding so many goals. You know, we could play a back five under Lopetegui at times and just ship so many goals. Yeah. We've addressed that biggest issue. And I think there's going to be there's so many issues in the team. You can't fix them all at once. And I think everyone's going to have an issue. You know, people that didn't want to ship goals are quite happy with the system at the moment. People that wanted to score more goals and didn't care about conceding them are going to be not happy about the system. And I think there's got to be a balance. And I think at the end of the day as well, it is all about personnel. I think you could play a team where you put, you've got 2 centre-backs and 8 forwards, and at the end of the day, they probably wouldn't score a goal. So I think it's ultimately not just the system, and I think it's too early to blame and say the system's wrong. I don't think you can say a system's wrong after 2 months personally.
Yeah, but
me.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, CJ, on this year, is that when you're not having a shot on target at all at home, yeah, whether or not they're Newcastle United, West Ham under other managers before have also like attacked and scored goals against big teams like Man City, Liverpool, etc. It is a concern when you've got a new manager in who's not having the creative spark that we need to try and win a game. Basically, my mentality of what I think he's doing is basically he's setting up not to lose. That's basically what it is. He's not setting up to try and win. He's setting up not to lose. And then we're going to have the same situation that we had with Moyes in 18 months' time. I can see it coming right now. Right, what I know exactly what's going to happen. Right, we're going to sign some players next season. He'll do the same thing again. We're not getting the right results, and then people will start to say, "Well, this is no different to how it was with Moyes." And and that's the concern. Like, I get the argument of like we've got to see how it goes. We've got to see how it goes. But last night, I'm talking about last night, and last night was not good enough for West Ham United at home against a semi-par Newcastle side with a lot of injuries and one eye on the cup final. Someone said it in my chat before I hand it over to Jay and Lucas to land. Yeah, someone said it in my chat earlier on. And I make them 100% right. They turned around and said we didn't even impose ourselves on Newcastle. Like literally, like we didn't even go into them or like rough them up or do anything of any note. It was very passive from us last night, and it just wasn't good enough. Lucas, what you saying?
I mean, to answer that question, it's because, like I said earlier, both midfields were absolutely shocking. That was one of the worst midfield watches I've seen in my life. So, and again, like Newcastle, yes, they were missing Gordon, they were missing Lewis Hall, but I mean, missing Lewis Hall would be kind to say because he got injured, he's out for the season. So it is what it is. But they were missing Gordon. Still, without them, they're a good side in my opinion. So whether people think that or not, I could care less. That's your opinion, but. I mean, I agree with CJ with mostly everything.
Jay?
Yeah, I agree with mostly everything as well. I think I made the point earlier with not wanting to necessarily repeat myself that like we don't have the personnel to create the chances at the moment. We didn't have a fit striker. We don't have a creative midfielder in there. People are nitpicking at the system. You could have played 4-2-3-1. We didn't have any. The only fit striker we had last night was Danny Ings.
No, don't play the 4-2-3-1. Don't do it.
But you know what I mean. Like you could pick 4-4-2. Who are you going to play there? Danny Ings and who? Like we don't have the personnel at the moment.
But is there an argument here? And I ask this to audience. Yeah, is there an argument here that he has to play Evan Ferguson on Saturday? He has to. Like he can't sit there and because like after Saturday's game. West Ham don't have a game till the 1st of April, right? That's 2 weeks.
And Somerville might be back as well.
And for me, like how much more time does Evan Ferguson need? Like, because then, like, what's the point? What's the point in having him here if we're never going to see him starting games?
We needed him. That's for damn sure. We literally needed him. We needed another striker. So that's like half. That's literally almost more than half of the coin of bringing him in. Like we desperately needed depth there, right? And again, like I would love to see Evan Ferguson absolutely kill it, but asking someone to come in with what was our match at the end of the January window?
We played Brentford, Crystal Palace, we've had Arsenal, we've had Leicester, Newcastle,
and he came in injured as well. So again, asking this guy to turn asking this guy to turn water into wine. Realistically, we have what 10 matches left or 9 or 10 matches. Yeah. We have 10 matches left. He hasn't started one. He's been injured almost a quarter of the time he's been here. I mean, again, I would love to see something, but again, maybe my expectations are low. Maybe some people's expectations are high, but like. Just the way I'm thinking about it is asking this guy to go get 6-7 goal involvements in the last 10 matches of the season when he's barely been fit. He's only really playing anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes at most. I don't know what to tell you.
Before I get to that question for Lucas, Jay, is there CJ, is there anything else you want to say, mate?
No, I think just on Evan Ferguson as well. I think he should play. I really do think he should play. But I think we've also got to remember, one, we don't know how fit he actually is. You know, we don't know if he is ready to start a game because there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And we also don't know how good he is, right? If he comes on and he plays for 70 minutes and stinks up the gaff, that's going to go on Potter as well. So I think ultimately I'm still in a position where it's been 2 months. I'm going to respect every decision Potter makes. And I think with the system thing as well, I'm a bit more hopeful because I'm not looking back on, you know, the David Moyes era where we waited too long and it just went bad. I think you've got to look at it from a fresh perspective and just hope, you know, tweaks will be made and we get to this point soon. But I'm okay with fixing the boat. I'm also okay with going into games like Newcastle in the first half, you know, not going out there to score 2 goals because ultimately we're 16th. They're fighting for Champions League still. So I think you have got to be realistic about that as well. So we'll see where we are. Look, honestly, give it 2 months. If it's still the same, I'll have a different tune. But at the moment, just trying to be hopeful.
No worries, CJ. I'll let you go, mate. Take it easy.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
That was CJ. Right, question to both of you. Right, and this is a good question from Paul. Shout out to Paul from Twitter. Question for Lucas and Jay. Is there a scenario where he would drop Souček? When do you boys drop Souček?
Is this a next season question or this season?
Well, let's say this season because we don't know who we're buying. We don't know who's going.
Probably not. He's literally been our best midfielder all season. So in terms of this season, I'd say no. But next year, of course, there is always a scenario. There is always a possibility in life, football, sports, whatever. There is nothing out of the picture. But in terms of this moment to the end of the season, I would personally say no because who has proved to be better than Souček this season? Like James Ward-Prowse has had 2 good matches. Maybe if he was here the whole season and he played that way, sure. But Lucas Paqueta hasn't been better. Soler has been crap most of the time. Andy Irving had that amazing cameo versus Chelsea, but again, there's no consistency there. So as of now, till the end of the season, I think dropping Souček would hurt us personally.
Jay?
I could potentially see it this weekend. Like I could see Potter maybe going for a different kind of setup within a similar formation, purely because against, and bear with me here because I'm a fan of Thomas Souček, but you look at how we're likely to set up. We will set up with this 3 at the back. There is no doubt about it. If we go to the box midfield, then you're going to need a creative player alongside someone who's good at defending transitions. Not that we have anyone who I'd say is particularly good at defending transitions, but you'd probably need an Alvarez alongside Paqueta in that scenario so that you've got more attacking options to try and drag players out of position. Then with a Souček and Ward-Prowse substitution in the second half, if it's not working, even if it is, to then go back to the plan of Ward-Prowse as the spare man on one corner of the box, Souček arriving at the other corner of the box, and then swing the ball over. I don't necessarily think that works from the start, but what do I know? So if it's going to happen, you could potentially see it happen with a view to experimenting with the style within the same formation. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Souček's been very, very consistent this season, and he's at probably our biggest goal threat at the moment. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult.
It is quite funny when you say that. Biggest goal threat.
Double Kudus' goal contributions.
Exactly. That's the thing. People forget that. People sleep on that. When people say, he should be sold in the summer, I'm not against if we get good money for him. I'm not against it. But people, militantly saying, get rid of him in the summer, where are you going to replace his goal contributions? He's been one of our top scorers. He's been one of our top performers. You've got to go and replace that in the summer. Are you getting 25 million for Souček in the summer? I don't know. I don't think you are. So how are you going to replace him for 15 to 20 mil? I don't think you do.
I'll just to round this video up. There's one question that was on there on the chat earlier on, which I do want to get to, is Luis Guilherme. What's Guilherme got to do, mate, to get on the pitch?
I won't lie. I was a little bit disappointed yesterday. I thought it was screaming out for him. When at 1-0 down, I wouldn't have minded Ferguson and Guilherme coming on at the same time. And then when Dingsy come on, I got why. He dropped into the 10. He's good on the turn. He would get it. He would distribute it wide, and then he'd get into the box. I get it. I honestly don't know at this point. We'd obviously the talk is that we turned down a bid for pretty much what we paid for him. in January, which was your time to cash out and go, cool, it didn't work. We've got our money back. Let's move on. So I think he'll get his chance. But yeah, it was a little bit frustrating for me last night that he didn't get his chance.
Lucas?
Sorry, I blanked out. I was reading the comments. What was the question? Sorry.
He's stoned out of his face. Lewis
wish.
Guilherme. Why?
Disappointed. I probably wouldn't use that word for me personally. I know Jay would definitely use that word because he loves the boy, and I respect it. I like him too, and I think under the correct like manager or club, he could thrive to be a really good player. But I'm unbothered, really. Again, he hasn't inspired me a lot or shown me a lot of like what his best qualities are. He's got a bit of pace. I know it was Chelsea or Villa when he came on late and he made the impact. It was Chelsea, wasn't it?
Chelsea, yeah.
Like that to me was his best cameo in a West Ham kit, and most of that to me was down to Chelsea just being absolutely legged. They were tired. That was a very grueling match where the result really did not tell the whole story, but it is what it is. I mean, me personally, when you invest in a young kid like that, the way we did, £20 million or whatever, 20, 25, 17, 19, I don't give a shit what all these people are saying. When you invest that kind of money into an 18-year-old, you do want to see him flourish because we don't see that a lot at West Ham, that kind of investment. But
but just to say this quickly, but we know Danny Ings is going to be leaving at the end of the season. Like we know he's going, right?
Why? Yeah, no, I think that's a problem, and I think that tells a bit of the story that Potter may just not rate him. But again, like he just got here. Potter, I think, would have been a bit foolish, in my opinion, again, to ship him off in January when we had an injury crisis. We needed players, and he wants to get a better look at him. And again, I think in the summer he will give him a chance. And if he doesn't find him fit enough, good enough to fit the system, he will be gone to Saudi or Brazil, wherever.
But
I want to see him flourish. I do.
For me, I'll just make this short and sweet. I'm a bit surprised he didn't come on last night. I thought we need a bit of energy in there, and like he can run the kid. I'll give him that. And he brings on Danny Ings, and I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, we all know this geezer's leaving at the end of the season. Like he sits there with his nice hair and nice teeth on 125 bags a week.
Great guy as well. He's a good guy.
What a good guy. But I wouldn't mind his wage packet. I won't say that. Right, that's us done. Right, we've hit the hour mark. Jay, Lucas, it's been a pleasure, this one, lads.
Good fun.
Shout out to Damien, Kane, AD
CJ and AD.
MVP, AD lad. Loads of good contributions today, but AD lad, what a guy. What a guy.
AD lad, don't come back on this fucking channel. 100. You know what I mean? Smash a like on the video, subscribe to E20 Zone TV, hit notification bell and all of that. I'll be back tomorrow. Cheltenham, part 2. You know what I mean? Fucking Constitution Hill, can't get up the hill, but I managed to pull one back right at the death on Cheltenham. So we're good, lads. We're good. But I will see you again in the next one. From Lucas, from Jay, from me.